Today I will be showing you how to do masking on Vegas Pro 9. The techniques used are very similar to those in Photoshop, but can be applied to videos as well. We will start out with still images, just so you get the hang of things, and then we'll move on to the more complicated things with actual film. So I've already imported my images through here, and they show up on this tab called Project Media. So I'm just going to drag this one down to my timeline. There are multiple layers so that you can use video clips and sound bites and just mix and match them as you please. It also helps with masking, as in this first image I will show you how to do the traditional green screen color replace technique. And basically you'll just need a video or an image or a photo with a solid color background. It doesn't actually have to be green. As you see here, it's blue. So you're just going to want to start off with that in this layer, and on the bottom layers choose your background that you will want to show through the masked area afterwards. Here I have a clip that I've set up here already. So you just make sure that they are lined up and in the correct place. You always want the one that you want to be seen in front of the other to be on the very most top layer. So you will just click on this little, let me zoom in so you can see a little better. Oop, too much. This little big image, I don't know what you would call that here. It's called Event FX, and it will give you a list to choose from. You will want to choose Sony Chroma Keyer. Click OK. And now you will adjust the blue, because it has already automatically figured out if my color was green or blue, and it has gone to blue screen. But my blue is more of a light color, which I will adjust based on this right there. So that looks better. And then as you see, it's also messed up my image that I want to keep there. So you can adjust the thresholds to fix that. You just move them around to get rid of the background completely, and then move this back to bring in your image. You can also affect the blur amount, which is really helpful when using actual people, because they get the pixelated sharp edges, or some of the green shows through, and the blur helps to minimize that. It actually isn't all that necessary here unless I want a halo effect, which I don't, so I'm going to just keep that real low. And you can also click this box or unclick it to show the mask that you have, which is helpful. And down here is not something I particularly want to use for this image, but just to show you, get a hang of things, it goes through your little clip there, and you can actually add little points on here which change your mask threshold right here, make it show up again, change her to go out. Come on. So make her a little more transparent than the background this time. No, okay. And see that little point there? That has saved your settings that you have made for that point in your little clip. The beginning is the same because there's a point there. And you can drag that around to whichever point in the clip you want it. Probably right now, though, I'm just going to copy it there so it goes from the original settings to our second settings to the original again. And then I'm going to close this just so you get to see what it does. And so you can affect how much mask you have for what duration you want it in the clip. But for right now, I don't actually want any of the changing, so I'm just going to click here and delete those so that it lasts the whole time. And your end result for this will be... Ta-da! Grr, she's so angry. Anyway, on to our next example. We'll drag this down here. Zoom in a little bit. Or not. Oh. Ah, crud. Come here. Yes, when zooming in, it will zoom in around wherever your pointer is. So you're gonna want to have that where you want to zoom in. And that looks very sensitive controller. But there we go. So when you're doing your masking, if it's not already got the image you want behind it, it will show up as black. It's not that it actually is black, it's just that the preset background for this is black. And so if it's see-through, it shows up as black. To show you the more complicated version, we will use this image with 3 cute little chibi anime characters. And this is not one that I try to use often because it is more complicated, but if you don't have a green screen, sometimes it's necessary, and it's nice that the option is there. Let's click the wrong one. This time you want to click the little square above the event FX. It's called Event Pan and Crop. It will bring up this window. Oop. By the way, if they accidentally cross up here, they'll suck up into this little menu area you have, and all you have to do is go over to these dotted lines and drag that out again. But to mask this, you're going to want to select this mask button down here. And this little window is where you will be doing your magic. You can zoom in and out, and if you hold down Control, oops, here, yes, Control, you can also drag the image around. You will be starting off with this anchor creation tool. It's very similar to the tool in Adobe Illustrator. I think it's the pen tool. And what you're going to want to do is just draw an outline around the area you want to show up. In this case, I will have these characters. And just like in Illustrator, you have this long bar connected to your point. It controls the amount of curve to the line you have in between points. They can be readjusted afterwards, so your main concern is to just have the points you need to begin with, so you don't have to worry about starting over, deleting, or adding points and having problems with that. So just try and get it as accurate as possible. And just continue to go around. Now, one thing that bugs me is if you click off to move around your screen, it will deselect your line. All you have to do to fix that is go over to this, click on it again, make sure you have one point selected. Okay, there we go. Alright, so you just click on that again. Sorry, my controls are not the same and it confuses me. But you just continue to click around your subject, and I moved. Bah! Humbug. Alright, so there we go. I don't like that one. I'm just undoing, by the way, to get those to disappear, which is Control Z on Windows, Command Z on Mac. So now we have it all connected, and your mask is blurred out with the darker color. And as I said, you can go back now and use this tool, this angle looking tool, to select on the parts you want to fix. The angle of, or the arrow tool to just move things. I don't actually want to select that whole line though, just the point. So that's that point. I want this one, do I? Let me turn the snap off for just a second. In hopes that I can detangle this. There we are. Then I'll move this point, which has gotten twisted up as well. And I want to angle this one a little more. Change the angle of this one. As well as this one. But as you see, many possibilities here to correcting curves and such. You are definitely in need of moving. Okay, where do I want to put you? Oopsie, undo. Why? Okay. So you just keep going around like that, adjusting your points till they fit. That's a bit too sharp for me, so I'm going to angle that as well. And then I'm going to select again. So, just as a review, to select points or drag around your field, you can use the arrow. And to change the angle of points, you want this tool. Such as that. To add points or create your line, you want this tool to create points, this tool to delete your lines, this tool to enable snapping or take it off. At the moment I'm editing, I would prefer not to snap because it fights me sometimes. You can use this to zoom in and out. I choose to just do it manually. And you continue onwards with your points till they are aligned exactly how you would like them. And I'm just gonna fix this up a little bit before I go on to our next step. So now I have that all lined up like that, and as you see on the viewer, it has deleted the background. And again, like the first masking we did, you can affect the feathering. So make sure you are selected in your line. Then you can do feathering on the inside, which will feather it towards the image. or on the outside, which feathers out, or both. I'm going to choose out just so you can see the effect. And here you can select how much it does. Cool little halo effect. And in makes it smaller. And then both is what I normally use. And just do it a little. At the moment, I'm going to choose out and give it a halo. Just because it's cute. And they're glowing! For film clips, the masking process without a green screen is very similar to the one we just used for our last image. You go to the beginning of the clip and mask out your character or selection. Select the feathering after you are done adjusting it. But since it is a moving clip, your subject will most likely move around outside of your mask as the clip progresses. Your mask will stay still unless you add other points down below. By dragging the cursor, readjusting your mask, and then it will make a point that saves your settings for that point in the clip. You just keep going throughout your clip and doing this for each section where your character or subject will move a significant amount, and between the 2 points it will move your mask slightly from one setting to the other. So usually you won't have to do your settings too closely together because it will move around with your subject usually. Sometimes you have to edit it and fix everything, but most of the time everything works out alright. It is a little time consuming, but if you don't have a green screen, this is a really cool option to use that I have not been able to find in many other programs. And that is all there is to it. Run through it with your arrow tools to move frame by frame to see if you missed anything. And if not, you're done.